Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, friends, only few remarks about, shall we call it provisionally, philosophy of semiotics. And when I use the term phenomenology, it is again for convention's sake. I'm not going to talk about history of semiotics as history of any branch of science. It is utterly boring. So let me start with something which I find essential. Still, two words about, as it were, theoretical history of semiotics. I remember that even at the heyday, early triumphs of semiotics, there were complaints of the type, oh, that's okay, but where is its theory on the application? It was applied to literature, to poetry, even to history, with its historiographical consequences, to card games, to dinner rituals. Extremely interesting, very lively. But the problem of underlying theory still was lurking somewhere in the corners, not yet manifested. And it is not manifested even now. Why was it so? Because the beginning of semiotics coincided with absolute domination in the world of science, of humanitarian science, absolute domination of the idea of binarism. Everything is binary. We are living in the world of binary oppositions. We are living in the world of binary differentials. We are living in the world of binarism. And when the first attempts of broader applications of semiotics began in Paris, in Moscow, in Tartu, even in Chicago, it became quite evident that we, well, I'm terribly sorry that I must say we, because I, for my sins, participated in it personally, yes. Still, few words about possible theoretical foundations, a bare binarism in semiotics as well as in theoretical physics. Some physicists told me never was enough for a real theory. It is too poor. It is in the end, and now it is quite evident, too boring to continue into the third and then into the fourth millennium with binarism. Enough is enough. But I am returning to the idea of theory. Ladies and gentlemen, believe me, for heaven's sake, theory is not something you can extract from your pocket. Theory is not something that you can easily appropriate or even imitate. And that mania of application destroyed some invaluable possibilities of creating the theory. But the most difficult thing about theory, you cannot extract it from your pocket, from your hat, from your mouth, even from your brain, yes, is that a real theory can appear only as the result of very long reflection and self-reflection. That is what I mean when I use the term reflection. You are not only doing something with one or another object of your investigation. It is not reflection. It is the thinking, scientific thinking, artistic thinking, aesthetical thinking. Reflection starts when you start checking, controlling your own thinking on those objects, not those objects themselves. And without that reflexive thinking on what you are thinking, on what you are doing, on what you are talking about, that, shall we say, objectless thinking, concentrated on your thinking, only such a thinking, the culture of such a thinking can result in a kind of theory. So let me start with some elementary presuppositions of semiotics without any critique. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate critique. Any critique, even so-called famous self-critique, I hate. All of us, I'm sure, all of us remember the famous article by, indeed, brilliant essay, and in fact a book by Levi-Strauss, The Raw and the Cooked. And even such a brilliant mind, undoubtedly, as Levi-Strauss, far more brilliant than those mass and arts of fashionable semioticiens Parisiens who started imitating him. But, you know, even Levi-Strauss could not become aware of the fact that that opposition itself, of the raw to the cooked, is very raw opposition, not properly reflected and theoretically thought upon. Why? Because it is enough to reread this article without any, shall we say, sentimental predisposition, to see that what Levi-Strauss called the raw was cooked too, because that very binary opposition was the result of utterly refined cultural perception. But there is one other very interesting point in that binary mania. And the point is that the raw is not only opposed to the cooked as one cultural phenomenon to another, but what was omitted by Levi-Strauss and his followers, including ourselves, of course, because it was a heyday, you know. It was a kind of a time of temporary triumph of semiotics, which damaged the semiotics very much. As it damaged very much even such a, shall we say, even today, fashionable branch of science as theoretical physics. Richard Feynman, one of the real genius of the 20th century, used to repeat, well, less of triumph. The more triumph, the more stupid we physicians become. Quite. And again, what is very interesting